Coming up, our gastrocnemius and soleus foam roll. Gastrocnemius and soleus are the two parts of our calf muscles, so feel free to go into hit the foam roll at different angles depending on where the soreness and the tension lies. We'll be on our glutes with our heels propped up on top, or rather our calves propped up on top of the foam roller, and let's begin. Feel free to lift your hips slightly as you roll through, but we can always sit down if that pressure is a little bit more desirable. Either way, we hold the foam roller up against any sort of knot or tension or tightness that we feel in our calf area, working that single leg one at a time. Again, as we go and we feel the knot start to move, we'll slowly roll the foam roller in that direction, trying to get that knot or any tension out. And at our 30-second mark, we'll go ahead and switch, so we'll switch our legs now. Good, same idea as now we just go and we dig into that other leg. Good, making sure that again the foam roller is just up against that knot and we slowly push it forward, not moving too much, but just enough to create movement and just enough to create that, to have that knot move. Good, 4, 3, 2, time. Coming up, our quadricep foam roll. We'll be on our forearms, resting our quads against the foam roller as we roll to the top and the bottom of the quad. We'll begin in 4, 3, 2, and let's begin. Starting with the foam roller just above the knee complex, we'll roll up the quad towards the pelvis area, stopping right at the top of the quad. And again, stopping if we happen to hit any knot or any area of tension. If and when we hit any area of tension, again, we'll hold the foam roller against that knot until we start to feel a little movement and the knot push out. Good. We'll roll for another 3, 2, and our time. Coming up, our gastrocnemius and soleus stretch. Again, our gastrocnemius and soleus are the two parts of our calf muscle. We'll start off with a staggered stance facing a wall with both toes facing the wall. One foot slightly farther back, and we'll begin in 3, 2, and 1. For our calf stretch, to go into intensify it, we slightly lean forward, keeping our rear heel flat on the ground. Good, breathing, again keeping our heel flat on the ground and making sure that that back toe is facing the wall as we hold our stretch. Good, breathe 5 seconds. 3, 2, and we'll switch our feet. Good, slowly leaning forward, again making sure that that back foot, our stretching foot, that toe is facing the wall. Good, slowly leaning forward until we feel a good stretch. Feel free to ease up or intensify the stretch as needed. Good, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and our time. Coming up, our kneeling hip flexor stretch. We'll be into a kneeling position with one knee down. That same side arm will extend up to the ceiling and we'll slightly rotate over that shoulder. So if our left knee is down, our left arm is up, and we slightly rotate over and turn towards that left shoulder. Let's begin. Looking up at our palm, again with that knee down, that same side arm up, and slightly turning towards that shoulder, the shoulder of the arm that's up. We'll feel a good tug at the top of our quad, as well as in our psoas, which is inside our abdomen. Good, breathe. Feel free to lead a little farther forward or move that front leg if we feel the need for a deeper stretch. And whenever you're ready, we'll switch sides. Placing that other knee down, taking that same side arm up again, and slightly turning over that shoulder, rotating the body. Looking up towards that arm that's up, trying to create length to that side of the body, all the way from our hip flexor into our psoas, up into that lower shoulder complex. Good, breathe. We'll hold for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. Next up, we have our Glute Maximus work, our strengthening exercise with the ankle band. Now, if we don't have an ankle band, we can always work this exercise without resistance, squeezing our glute at the extension of the motion. We'll switch our legs at our 30-second mark and begin in 3, 2, and 1. With our front leg, our stationary non-working leg bent, and our back, our working side leg straight, we extend our working leg behind us, keeping both toes facing the wall, leaning slightly against the wall for stability. Keeping our core tight, we'll continue to extend that working leg back for a 4 count, holding for a 2 count, and retracting back for a 2 count. Again, 4 seconds on the extension, 2 seconds on the hold, and 2 seconds we bring it back to that initial position. And after our 30-second mark, we'll switch our legs. So we'll switch now, bending that non-working leg, so the leg we were just working, and straightening out the former stationary leg, and now our working leg we kick back. Good. Again, that working side leg should be straight. If we're unable to straighten, and try to push through that heel a little bit, keep that toe flexed. And again, that working toe should always be facing the wall as we extend back. 3, 2, and our last rep. Next up, we'll be working our core stabilizers using our pointer exercise. Keeping in mind that we'll be lifting our opposite arm and opposite leg for a 4 count, holding for a 2 count, and slowly dropping down for a 2 count. We'll switch our legs and our arms at our 30-second mark and begin in 3, 2, let's begin. In our tabletop position, opposite hands and knees stabilizing to the ground, we'll then lift that opposite arm and leg up again for a 4 count, hold for a 2 count, and lower for a 2 count. Lift for a 4 count, hold for a 2 count, lower back down for a 2 count. Keeping our eyes to the ground, our neck and shoulders neutral, and our core tight as we lift. And at our 30-second mark, we'll switch our sides. Good. Again, lifting for a 4 count, slow and controlled, holding for our 2 count at the top position, slowly lowering for a 2 count after. As we lift our arm and leg, really try to draw that belly in towards our spine so we can have a good center and maintain our balance. 5 seconds. Way to kick that leg back. 3, 2, time. Next up, our Cobra for our rector spinae. We'll be strengthening our lower back in this next exercise. We'll be starting off flat on our stomach, so feel free to place a mat, a towel, or some sort of padding under your stomach and body. We'll begin in 3, 2, and begin. Slowly lifting our body for a 4 count, retracting our shoulder blades, yet keeping our eyes focused to the ground through the extent of the exercise. We lift our legs and our head off the ground for a 4 count, while we retract our shoulder blades, holding for a 2 count, and then lowering for a 2 count. Lift for 4 seconds, hold for 2, drop for 2. Lift for 4 seconds, bringing our shoulder blades back. Good. Again, lifting for 4 seconds, squeezing for 2, lowering back down for 2. Drawing our belly button in as we lift to make sure that we don't put any undue stress on our lower back, and making sure our hip complex stays in alignment as we raise our torso and our legs. Good. Our last rep, 4 seconds, 3, 2, time. Next, to put it all together, we'll be working with our ball squat to overhead press. Now, the stability ball is just to ensure that we keep our chest up and our shoulders back. So if we don't have a stability ball, we can always leave it out with an extra focus on our posture as we squat. We want our squat and our overhead press to be 2 separate motions. Let's begin. Starting with our feet hip distance apart, we'll sit back into our squat position, keeping our core tight. As we come up, we have our rotational press. Our front squat, we sit back with our palms facing us. As we press, we rotate our palms forward at the top of the motion. Front squat, palms face us. Exhale as we press up, palms face forward at the top of our press. Make sure that our elbows are in tight and we press the dumbbells straight up to the ceiling, driving our knuckles to the ceiling for our press for our squat. Again, we sit our hips back, keeping our core tight and our posture. Good. Exhaling as we come up, inhaling as we come down. Again, posture, making sure that our focal point stays up, never dropping our shoulders, rotating with our press, palms face forward at the top of the motion. Palms face us as we squat, palms face forward when we press up. Our last rep, 3, 2, and time.